maybe. Okay.
Is it
Hello.
good? Yay! How you doing? Good to see you.
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing great. Good morning. Is it
Good
morning? No, you're later afternoon, aren't you?
Yes. It's already 9 p.m. here. So
Oh,
what time there for you?
so here it's 11 a.m. So it's
11
not super early morning, but it's just before noon.
Okay. So this is the first live for you today.
Yes, absolutely. Yep, yep. I think this may be my earliest live of the bundle, possibly, maybe. It's so funny, right? With all the different time zones and being all over the
Yes.
place, and
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I've had some pretty late because I had one with someone in America where it was like 9 or 10 o'clock my time, kind of similar for you, but yeah, this is my earliest morning one, which I'm pretty lucky for because I know some people have had like waking up at 7 a.m. to have a live, which that's pretty early for
Yes.
me.
And this is 3 a.m. for PST time.
Yes,
So
yeah.
it's very, very early. So I really want to say thank you for everyone to uh, join us today.
Absolutely.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
And it's so good
And
too that people can join us after if they haven't seen it already. But everyone who's with us now, hey, how's it going?
thank
It's good to see you, Sachi. It's been a little while.
very, very good to see you. And I think I heard already. I'm seeing you because I watched the live interview and the chatting every day during the
Yes.
bundle.
Yeah.
So it's so good.
It's been so awesome, right? There's been so many amazing lives and conversations and just topics covered and
Yeah.
discussed that can definitely help a lot of people. So it's been even more busy this time than last bundle, right? It's been pretty wild.
Yes. Yes. Very different. And
Yeah.
how many lives did you already done?
Wow, I've done quite a lot.
Yes.
For
I a lot.
I think like I've done this is my live sheet. So
Oh wow.
so I think on my schedule I had 45 lives.
Wow.
So that's what I've
45.
been putting most of my time into during the bundle is just lots and lots of lives.
I'm so looking forward to check each one on your IGTV and visit everyone's IGTV afterwards.
Yeah, we almost want to have that schedule up, maybe even keep that schedule up on the website even when the bundle finishes so that if people need to they can still click it because it has
Yes,
the links to people's Instagrams, right? So might as
yes,
well keep those. So I'll
yeah.
talk to Lissa about that and see if we can just leave that up because usually we partially take the site down when the bundle closes so that people don't get confused and try and buy it, right? But
Right.
that's it though, right? Monday, we're less than 48 hours now
Yes.
until the bundle's gone.
So only 2 days. 2 days
Yeah.
left, right?
Yeah.
So if
45 hours and 54 minutes now. I just saw the
oh
clock.
wow. Oh precise, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'd like to ask interview about
Sure. Yeah.
the most
How are you doing first?
important.
You're in a new place. I just wanted to ask you, you're in a new place and
Yes,
you like,
new place. New place.
yeah.
There's nothing in my shelf yet.
No. Sachi, we need stuff on your shelf.
Yes.
Where are the persimmons? Where?
It's not my fruit shelf, so.
Oh, okay, good. Okay. I thought it was a bare fruit shelf, and I was like, oh no, here I come to save the day as the sugar daddy.
Wow! This is here.
Yeah.
It's my
Peace, love, and
favorite
seasonal fruit all
t-shirt.
day.
Yeah.
That's an OG one from the Woodstock Fruit Festival.
OG
That's
one?
an original one. Yeah.
What is
I-
OG?
OG means original gangster, so it's just like an
Oh,
original shirt. I don't even have that one anymore. Or wait,
wow!
was that one? No, that was from a Europe festival, wasn't it? Or which festival did you get
Europe.
that one?
Yeah, the Woodstock Fruit
It
Festival.
was okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I just carrying this very, very well.
Yeah.
It's my only one.
Oh, that's so awesome. And it's a collector's one for sure. Like I said, I don't have that one anymore. It
Wow,
disappeared on me.
sorry. Theミカさん、イブ購入しました。日本人の方も参加してるんだと知り応援してます。So, Japanese just got the bundle.
Oh,
She
so
said,
awesome.
"Thank
So
you so
awesome.
much. I'm
That's so
so
awesome.
glad."
Yeah.
Wow.
I
How
hope you
was
really
that?
enjoy it, Mika.
Yes. Yes.
Hmm.
Wow. So I'd like to ask you about talking about the most important holistic lifestyle factors for health. So
Yeah,
not just about diet,
for sure.
not just about diet. There are many, many other factors to be healthy
Yeah,
and happy.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Because yeah, you can be eating the best diet in the world, but if any of the factors we go over are out of balance or aren't really something you've put any energy into, you're not going to be thriving your best. You're not going to be feeling good. And
yeah.
I'd like to echo what Dr. Doug Graham said recently, which I often do. I mean, he's an amazing mentor and knows so much about this lifestyle. But the lifestyle aspect that you don't have is going to be the most important one. Kind of like I just said, right? The aspect of health, the holistic lifestyle factor that you aren't paying attention to, that's probably the most important one for you. And
Paying
not just
attention.
pointing at you, like Sachi for you, but for everyone.
Oh, oh, sorry. Could you please say that again for me?
Yeah, for sure, for
I
sure.
didn't understand
So
clearly.
so the lifestyle aspect that you don't have, that you haven't put attention into, that's your smallest point, that's the weakest point, that's going to be the most important one.
Oh, wow. Oh, I understand. I personally improve my diet first,
Yes.
but I have more emotional issues and more other life habits. I need to improve. I need to improve. So little by little, I improved that part.
Yeah.
But I felt there is many important things with healthy diet.
For sure. And that's so awesome, and I commend you. That I think starting with diet is a big one. People start from any of the lifestyle aspects, and it leads them into more self-improvement, into more focus on other lifestyle habits. But sometimes people just find one and they think this is the cure. Like they find yoga and they think everything, if I just do yoga, everything's the best. Or yeah, just narrow vision. And
Yeah.
it really takes a wide open approach. And the things that we already have some skill at, it takes a lot of time and effort to get better at those. But the things that we have very little skill at, it actually we improve much faster on those. So that's why it is about you know diving into the stuff we're interested in, diving into the stuff that excites us, and trying to come as close to mastery of that as we can. But there comes a time where it's like, okay, like how much more time to focus on this? Let's widen the view and look at where my weak points are. Because as the saying goes, your health is only as strong as the weakest link. So that link that is weak, that's what's going to break you. So it's time to strengthen those weakened links. And it's a journey. It's a forever journey. This
Yes.
diet wakes up everything in us. It asks us to inspect every part of our life and look and go, okay, well, where can I improve? And the more we have that view, the better health results we're going to get. And also the more fun it is, because we always have something to really put some focus, time, and energy on.
Right. Yes. One by one. So
One by one.
we all started from the one thing,
Yeah.
like maybe health reason, emotional, more environmental and animal rights,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
The more reasons we have for being healthy, the easier it makes it. and realizing too that it is a journey, because let's say like maybe we'll go into the first big one, right? So I'm going to say the first big one is going to be, ooh, it's so tough because all of them, the important thing is, like all of them are just as important, right? Like all the aspects of health are really just as important. Again, it's just the one that you aren't paying attention to, that is a weak link for you, is going to be the most important for you. So if I say something and it's not really a weak link for you, it might not be your most important holistic lifestyle factor, because they're all equally important, right? Just like food. So obviously food's a big part. That's going to be a no-brainer, right? But we'll say next we'll say sleep, because a lot of people just don't pay attention to sleep. People often even say when you eat a raw food diet, you need less sleep. I don't really think this is the case. I think most people are chronically underslept, and it's really amazing that the amount of sleep you get really dictates a whole host of hormonal actions in our body, including how our body's able to process fruit sugar and transport and deliver energy to all of our cells. And so if we have the diet perfect, but we're not sleeping much, we're up late at night and we're not getting our sleep, and we wake up by an alarm clock every single day and are wiping our eyes, we're going to have a really hard time thriving. And in fact, I've coached many people who come and they want to talk about diet. We talk about diet a few times, we figure that stuff out, and we're looking to tweak little teeny things. And we keep coming back to, but how's your sleep? And they're like, oh, well, I sleep horrible. I only sleep 5 hours a night. And even those 5 hours aren't good. And, I just keep on thinking at night. I can't stop thinking. And it's just so important to figure out, one, why is that happening? Sometimes that's happening because people are under eating. Sometimes that's happening because people are really stressed out. Sometimes that's happening because of the environment they're in, right? But figuring out that so they can improve their sleep is going to have a way more profound effect on their health than tinkering and adding one more special food or this or that to their diet. So that's number one.
That's
Sleep.
so true. I've been there. I
Yeah.
just long time I have a lack of sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and until we really focus on really prioritize sleep.
Yeah.
It's hard to change our life cycle or habit. So that is a very, very important thing. Sleep is very important. Then we estimate.
Yeah, and it's go ahead.
No, go ahead.
And I think it can be tough, because in today's society, so many societies anyway, and so many cultures really congratulate productivity. Like the more you do, the more awesome you are, like the more we're going to hold you up. And like the people that go at a breakneck pace, that burn themselves out, they're still congratulated, like, wow, like they accomplished so much. And like people even boast about it, like I just drink coffee all night, or I use these energy pills, or go. We have all these stimulants, like the Red Bulls and all those things that are out there in the mainstream society to try and crutch people up to just be more and more productive. And I know for myself, I'm way happier when I find a happy medium, and when I'm doing enough that I'm creating accomplishments, but that I'm also really valuing leisure. Like, in the past, in certain cultures, leisure, which is just basically like a time off from productivity, just relaxation and enjoyment of what is, it was really celebrated, considered an art form, and people made time for it. Whereas progressively, again, people's work days are getting longer, and like relaxation is shorter, and it's so extreme that when your work day is really intense and you don't really find that time for leisure, you end up going into the opposite, into like apathy and into just being completely lazy, like lazy in the sense of not having energy to do anything, right? And it's fine to be lazy, and I mean leisure, lazy can be a fine line where you are relaxing, you know, but if you're so busy that you don't have energy to do anything afterwards, there's some kind of an imbalance there. And getting enough sleep and prioritizing sleep can often make that difference.
Yes, that's so true. And I think for recovery time is also sleep is very beneficial for quick recovery. So
Yeah.
you have experience of a very very hard injury
Yeah.
maybe 3 years ago.
Yeah. 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 It's just been over 3 years ago. I was in a major motorcycle accident, and you know the doctor's report said left leg was what was it, mutilated, is what the doctor's report said. And it was a long road and long recovery, but it did, that kind of took us into um, you know, into the second kind of aspect of holistic health that I'll bring up. Because yes, we slept a lot. Like we
Yeah.
hung out around bed, and part of that too is like we couldn't do much. You know, it was months before we were able to really walk and jump and play and stuff. Like we had to rehab and relearn everything. And so that kind of goes into exercise. You know, like the funny thing is the main faucets of health, or the main holistic lifestyles of health, they can seem pretty obvious, and some are a little bit more obscure that we'll talk about. But the major ones, like the big players, are things that everyone knows, but not everyone does. You know, not everyone really takes that seriously. But
That's so good.
exercise, we have to move our body in order to be healthy. You know, like I don't really like to use the word have to, but
I,
but there are some things we actually do have to do, because that is the way that we are designed. And you know, we can only circumvent nature and our human nature so much before we get consequences to it. And movement is just essential. You know, we look out into nature, and all animals in nature are active. You know, they're active according to their activity level and their species. Like a sloth doesn't seem that active, but for a sloth, that's active. You know, a cheetah, you know, obviously seems pretty active when they're running, but then, but then they relax a lot and they sleep a lot of the time, right?
yes.
So it's just according to our nature, and you know, we are designed to be active. And what a lot of people don't get with that is if we are underactive, one, we're not creating the paralysis or peristalsis, I think, to help with lymphatic drainage, because you know the way that our sewer system or our detoxification system works is, you know, it dumps toxins into the lymphatic system to be cleared out, and unless we're making that movement, they're one-way valves that don't have their own peristalsis, where squishing it into a certain direction. Our jumping, our moving actually helps flow that out so it can be cleared out of the body. So with detoxification, it's so important, as well as just simply the point of squeezing out and moving all our muscles and creating the demand for food. And if we're not active, we require less food. If we get in less food, we get less nutrition. And in order to actually get enough nutrition, which is optimal for our overall health, we need to have some level of activity. So and like you said, activity and recovery with sleep go hand in hand. In fact, the more active you are, the more you're like tearing your muscles and expending energy, the more sleep you get, and the more sleep you need. And typically the more sleep you're going to enjoy. You're just going to feel like you want to sleep more. But it's not abnormal for somebody healing or a really elite level athlete to sleep anywhere from 10 to 12 hours a day.
10 to 12 hours. Wow.
Yeah, if you're a high level athlete and you're training and want to get your best, 10 hours would be a minimum, and 12 hours during competition or during like extreme levels of training in order to really recover and be able to perform at your best.
Wow. That's good to know. Wow.
Yeah,
That's a
most
lot.
most people are underslept, but interestingly, a lot of people are over-exercised. Obviously, there's more people that are under-exercised than over-exercised, but oftentimes when people get into exercise, they might try and, you know, like do 2 hours in the gym 6 days a week. And, you know, that can be too much, especially if you're really hardcore strength training. The frequency and the amount of training that you need is totally dependent upon where you're at and your specific goals. Some people can train a little more, some people a little bit less, but it isn't uncommon, especially in the gym, for people to just train so often and undersleep and not really get results. And when you find balance that and work out just enough and get lots of sleep, you get way better results.
That's so true. Yeah. Um, you had you said that you are saying again and again the importance of sleep or exercise, especially sleep, recovery time, rest.
Yeah.
So I learned.
Yeah, it's awesome, and it's a gift to give to yourself, and both of those things make
Yes.
everything better. Like the more well rested you are, and the more you have a relatively steady and consistent exercise or sport or something, some kind of movement, the more well balanced we are physically, mentally, emotionally, because it's just an outlet and it helps balance all of our hormones. And I think that's an important aspect of exercise too, is most people think of exercise as being in the gym and like lifting weights, and that's great. If you like lifting weights, yeah, it's one of the best things you can do for your structural strength and for bone density and for a large host of things. But if you hate being in the gym, no need to force it. There are so many activities, like it's just finding the one that you genuinely love to do that makes you smile, and occasionally maybe switching it up. There is definitely something to be said to have some variety in your play, in your training, to keep things new, to keep a new challenge, and to have well-rounded fitness, because even within fitness, there's 5 different main aspects, right? We're talking about strength, talking about endurance, talking about balance, talking about hand-eye coordination, and then talking about explosiveness, right? So we have all these different types of fitness that we can train, and there are few activities that really hit all 5 of those, but there are many that hit 3 or 4. So that's why sometimes it takes 2 different types of training in order to make sure you have really well fitness. Oh, flexibility, of course, too.
Flexibility.
So, yeah, flexibility. So I think it's just limitless potential to find activities that really support well-rounded fitness. And like I said, even within fitness, it's that same thing as your weakest link is going to have the most effect. So if you do a lot of strength training, but you never do flexibility training, it can cause some issues in your overall fitness, and you really stand to benefit the most by focusing a little bit more on the flexibility instead of just thinking, okay, well, I just got to get stronger and stronger and stronger, because that can actually end up leading to injury if you don't have that flexibility. And on the exact other hand, if really all you focus on is flexibility, but you don't focus on strength, well, eventually you can really set yourself up for injury, because being really flexible without the strength to support you can lead to major issues as well.
I see. What is your favorite activity, favorite exercise? Move your body.
I'd say my favorite of all time is skateboarding.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
skateboarding. I've been doing it since I was 5 years old, and it's
Wow.
one of those things that when I'm skateboarding, I don't feel like I'm like exercising. Like, I mean, but I can get gassed out, and I can really tell I challenge myself, and I love it because it does work almost every single aspect. I mean, it can work all aspects for sure, because certain tricks require flexibility. You definitely need endurance. You need strength when you're jumping off of things. You need that explosiveness to be able to jump. So it's really hitting all those things. And the
So
hand-eye
cool.
coordination, of course, it requires all that as well.
Yeah, skateboarding is so cool. And
So
I
fun.
watch your video. Sometimes you post it.
Yeah,
Your
I love to
skateboarding.
share it. It just brings me so much joy. What's your favorite activity, Sachi?
I've been not an active person then until I started Robbing Lifestyle actually.
Yeah.
And I think at the same time, I started to go to
Yeah.
hiking, and I think going to nature is my favorite activity.
Yeah.
Moving my body, anything, walking, running, or cycling in the mountain, no, like a low mountain, lower
Yeah.
mountain.
That's
And
awesome.
I love practicing yoga.
Yeah. Yeah, me
Yoga
too.
is
Yoga
not
is so
exercise,
awesome.
but
No, it totally is. And I mean, that's the beautiful thing about yoga too, is there's so many styles of yoga. Like, we say yoga and most people think just like, doing like a stretch or a physical posture. And for sure, there's dozens of styles of yoga and some that are like will make you drip sweat and
yeah,
others that will just require more patience and more deep breathing and, more letting go, like yin practices and then there's like breath work and then there's the whole thing of karma yoga. Like yoga is so big, right? And
yes, I
you can really find classes that fit every type of fitness. It's just like I said before, any one style of yoga it probably isn't going to hit all five, but you take two styles and you're definitely going to hit all five, and some touch on all five, just are a little bit more focused on one or two areas.
and it's so much fun. And maybe you not master, but you choose one. But maybe you wanna another like
Exactly. I always love to like I have certain styles of yoga that I do more often when I'm by myself. And, we typically, as humans, start to do the things we feel the most comfortable with. It's sometimes hard to challenge ourselves to get out of our comfort zone and get a little uncomfortable, but that's where we thrive. That's really where we thrive. So when I'm by myself, I often do just my regular yoga that I do all the time, and it feels really nice, and it definitely has benefit. But when I go to a class, I usually like to go to a class that I don't normally do by myself and stretch my comfort zone, and I just feel so balanced from doing so. And it's kind of the same thing with exercise or with other aspects of health that we could go into too, is just finding that edge where you're just a little bit uncomfortable and leaning into it, and that's where we're going to grow the most.
yes, and that is so much fun.
Hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome that you say that too, because a lot of people, I think, get kind of stuck in that trap of just trying to be comfortable all the time and have fear of being uncomfortable or have fear of challenging themselves because they think, oh, I'm going to fail, I'm going to fail. The only way we fail is if we stop trying, right? And finding that edge and finding those things that challenge us just enough that, yeah, we might not make it the first time, we not make it the first 50 times, but that we can do it and continually moving towards it. That's where we see the most growth, not only in terms of maybe the physical reality that we're facing. Let's say for skateboarding, like I might be trying a trick and it might take me 50 times to learn that trick. And so I learned it physically, I do it. But trying and succeeding over and over, trying, succeeding, it builds up mental strength. It builds up the perspective that if I keep doing it, I can get it done, right? And that's what life's all about. I mean, we're always going to find things that knock us down. It's just, do we get back up and continue trying because we know the direction is worth it and we know the action is worth it itself.
Yes, it's so worth it. But
Yeah.
I've been there. Just you said what you said, like very stuck, and
Yeah.
maybe I don't wanna fail. But even 5 minutes, even 5 minutes a day,
Yeah.
move your body. Just start from small,
Yeah.
and even just a little adds up. And
Huge.
yes, your mood change and brain blood circulation change.
Hmm.
And yeah, everything is not everything, but even 5 minutes is a good start.
100%. Because fitness is all relative, right? So if you're new to fitness and you don't do it much, 5 minutes is great. That's exactly where you start. And you start doing it more, you start doing those 5 minutes all the time, your body starts to feel good, you notice the benefits from it, you start to have a little bit more pep in your step. And there might be a time where you do the 5 minutes and all of a sudden you're like, I'm going to keep going, right? And that
That's
5 minutes
right.
turns into 10 minutes and then you do 10 minutes for a while. And it's just, it is something that snowballs. And that's the
Yeah.
really beautiful thing about all these aspects of holistic health I'm going to talk about is each of them, when you start to add it into your life and put more focus, it snowballs because all the aspects of health are enjoyable and leads you to feeling more balanced. And that in and of itself just leads you to want more of it. And eventually this becomes a habit, like, wanting to do things that improve your life, that becomes your drive, that becomes your habit. That becomes something that you look forward to looking into and deciding, okay, well, how can I make my life even better now? It becomes the new healthy obsession, right? Like we
Yes.
can have negative obsessions, but we can also have things that we are really driven towards and passionate about that become healthy obsessions that we put more focus, time, and energy into.
That's right. Oh, thank you. Let's make a beautiful, beautiful snowball.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
a
exactly.
rainbow snowball.
Yeah, yeah, a whole bunch of them. We can make big ones. We can stack them up and make some snowmen and make a family with all the different lifestyle aspects that we roll up.
Yeah, the beautiful thing about vegan lifestyles is even we started from diet or
Mhm.
maybe you will find another aspects naturally attracted naturally.
Yeah,
So we not need we need but what I say so it's naturally
benefit.
happens.
Yes. Yeah.
Naturally happens. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes it naturally happens because we fall flat and we realize, wow, like I'm not strong, or wow, I'm just way too tired. Okay, what's going on here? And then we think about it, and it takes some introspection. Some things just aren't always completely obvious at the beginning because it's not something we focused on. But
Mhm.
as we see problems come up, we can start to look and go, okay, well, does this relate to diet or does this relate to this? And while everything is interrelated, usually there's going to be something that's kind of stand out, something that is one of the major kind of factors that we really need to put focus on in order to regain balance and come into the higher levels of health. Because again, like we said, like food is really big, but it is only one spoke on the wheel. And
Just one.
so I think what we'll say for number three, and it's a big one that I see a lot of people have a hard time with, is stress.
Dress.
And stress isn't necessarily the lifestyle aspect that we want. It's actually the other side of the coin, which is where we want some measure of peace and contentment. We want to have some level of acceptance of what is. And this can come into many different faucets. It can come one into our perspective about life, and that's a really big one because our perspective is typically formed from our upbringing, and from all the stuff we've been subjected to, and hurts and traumas. We can start to not feel safe about the world, or we can start to feel afraid. Maybe we've seen things outside our house or to other people we know, we can start to become afraid. But that's where learning from people that have the perspectives and the results that we're looking for can be incredibly valuable. Looking at books, looking at audio books, all these different things that can shift our perspective to one of more acceptance, more compassion, and more enjoyment of life as it is, because typically the stress is coming from fear, fear of what could be or what might be. So things that are in the forward, or
Yeah.
regret about things in the past and aren't really rooted in just being present right now. So like books like The Power of Now and different things by Eckhart Tolle can be really helpful, Spiritual information and books can be really helpful for perspective. As can, and this would I would say is like is kind of it definitely is another aspect of health, but it also really helps with stress. So I'll kind of tie them together. Power Now, great book. Is breath. You know, uh,
Deep breath.
breathing and having an awareness of how we breathe, not necessarily meaning at all times be breathing and thinking about breathing, but at the beginning, if our weak link is how we breathe and we're a shallow breather, we're just doing little, we're not going to be living and thriving as high as we can, and we're always going to be in a state of stress because it's
Oh,
been scientifically proven that your stress response is completely connected to and tied to how you breathe. So, for example, if we are stressed out and we're scared, we're having those short little breaths where we start to hyperventilate, and so when we find ourselves stressed out, sometimes it can be hard to shift our perspective. Sometimes it can be hard to calm down when we come from the mind and think, oh, calm down, calm down. And it's been scientifically proven if instead we focus on our breath and we actively choose to slow down our breath into long, deep breaths in through our nose. And then if we want out through our mouth or our nose, in through the nose though, it completely shifts our nervous system and our flight or fight response and brings us back into calm, so um, and this is tied into everything too, because if we're really stressed out, we have a hard time sleeping. If we're really stressed out, even if we're eating healthy foods, we may not be digesting it well. If we're really stressed out, it just runs amok with our hormones and the way our body processes food and the way our body does everything. All the bodily processes are tied to our level of relaxation or stress. And often people say coming back into rest and digest. So I always want to point that out because oftentimes people, they come into this diet and they're going through deeper levels of detoxification and all these things, and they're stressed out. They might have headaches and stuff like that. And if we choose to eat when we're stressed out and we choose to eat when we have like these symptoms, we don't get as much from our food, and it can really cause issues with digestion. So taking that serious, and when we're stressed out, finding ways to relax and come into balance. Breath work is a really big key. Perspective is a really big key. It helps our overall health leaps and bounds. Is huge.
wow. So approach from physical side, you said. Right?
Yeah, you can approach it from the physical side with the breath work, and so when we find ourselves stressed, it's just seeing that as a moment to take some time for ourselves and just breathe deeply and allow that energy to dissipate, because again, it's one of the most scientifically proven ways to completely change our state of being, and it can happen really quick, and that becomes a habit, if we just separate ourselves, just take a second, breathe a little bit, and then we come back.
Everyone, yes. Everyone take a deep breath, 10 minutes, 10 seconds.
Yeah, absolutely. And it does so many good things, it hyperoxygenates your body and resets your stress response. It helps with your immunity. If we're always in a state of stress, we're way more susceptible to, sickness and to ill health and to being tired and to being irritable and just to feeling unbalanced and, not thriving anywhere near where we can. And, the reality is the past is the past, the future is unknown, and the only thing we can do is focus in on the present. And the more well-balanced we are by relaxing and being able to be clear in the present, the better we are equipped to handle anything that comes our way. Because if we're coming into the present from a place of stress, usually we're twitchy and we're stiff and we're not really operating from a place of ease. we're operating from, again, a place of fear or worry and stiff, and we're way more likely to make mistakes, which really all mistakes are is just making it a little bit more challenging for yourself and making the things you need more clear. You know, it's like we'll keep on hitting our head against the wall and hitting our head against the wall and having a hard time and being stressed until we open our eyes and relax and actually breathe into the moment and find out what is out of balance and what we can actually really do effectively. And sometimes it might be that, you know what I needed was to be more prepared. You know, maybe I needed to be more prepared, and put more time into it. And other times what it might be is that we just needed to slow down. You know, we just could have really slowed down, relaxed into it. But the more, go ahead.
No. I believe we have enough courage to slow down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's not never failure.
Yeah.
Slow down. Yeah.
Yeah, slowing down is so important. And I mean, and that kind of goes into the leisure as well. You know, like we don't need to go at a breakneck pace and accomplish more than everyone every single day. You know, if instead we just focus in on the moment and what lifts us up, what makes us feel good, you know, what brings us balance, what brings us happiness, contentment, all of these things are going to lead to us being more than adequately productive and, you know, leading a healthy, happy, balanced life.
Right. That's so true. So Jessica said, I have learned so much of you all in the last 2 weeks. Amazing.
Oh,
Yeah, thank you so
that's
much. Yeah,
that's so awesome.
we had so many amazing lives in last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I didn't have any, but thank you so much, Grace, and everyone.
It's been so
Talking
awesome coming together. It's been so awesome all coming together. And you know, what she just said there just kind of made me feel like the fourth point is, and this might be the last one that I that I bring up here, but I think it's one of the most important. And again, all of them are really important. All of them are equally important. But I say most important with this one because when we start really focusing in on this, everything falls together. And there are so many people that don't have it, is just treating oneself with genuine self-love, you know, just building up that love of self, you know, and all of these things are acts of self-love, right? So that's the beautiful thing. Sometimes if we don't feel like we have a lot of love for ourselves, when we start getting more sleep, which is loving ourselves, you know, when we start nourishing ourselves with great food, that is loving ourselves, right? When we start exercising, that's loving our body and treating it really well, you know. When we start relaxing and slowing down and having that time for leisure, that is loving ourselves, right? So the more we bring in all of these aspects, the more we're actually loving ourselves and proving it to ourselves, and that can shift our mindset because you know, sometimes that's where I came from. Like I didn't love myself. I was really mean to myself and didn't love life anymore. And when I started really paying attention to all these lifestyle aspects, slowly but surely, I spoke more loving words, and then I spoke more loving words to myself. And it just blossoms and grows into being, you know, uh, more and more of a common thing where you actually are really treating yourself with love, thought, word, and action, because it takes more than just action, takes more than thought. All three together, they really help balance you out.
Oh, that's so true. Yeah, self-love is very, very, very base for everything.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. And yeah, these are things that, you know, like all human beings require to be healthy and to be happy and to be balanced. And there, of course, there are more, you know, there are other aspects. And like we said at the very beginning, you know, it's about the one that you're not really focusing on, you know, that has the most pronounced effect. And it's just so important to know that no matter where we are with any of these things, no matter where we are with diet, no matter where we are with giving ourselves sleep, no matter how we are with loving ourselves, we are 1000% special and unique and amazing. And none of these things make you more or less lovable. None of these things make you more or less special. The only thing they may do is help you awaken more to how amazing and special you are. And it's so worth pouring more love into yourself through thought, word, and action so you can come to see how amazing and how beautiful we all are, and to see that in everyone else around us. Because when we come to see and know that we are special beyond belief, and that nothing can diminish how awesome we are ever, there's nothing we could say, think, or do that will make us less than we are, and that everyone has that in them, just the more connected and more love-filled our heart is, and that will lead us to just feeling the best we ever can.
Yes. Wow. I remember the Rosalind said to me, love and beauty is everywhere.
Yeah.
Love and beauty is everywhere. So when you find love and beauty outside the world,
Yeah.
that's because of you are beautiful and very lovable.
Yeah.
I think.
And you are too. And I think that is just the truth. It's what we focus on. And there is beauty in absolutely everything, right? It's just we live in this world of contrasts. We live in this world of dark and light and hot and cold, and oftentimes we can start to associate one with being better, but they both just are, and there's beauty in each, because each is an ever spinning wheel that leads to the other. So it's often when we can see that and see the beauty in each process and see the beauty in every single thing that happens around us, because at the end of the day, either all the things that are happening around us create unconscious knee-jerk reactions and judgments and thinking, that's not right, this isn't how I want it, I want to be here. Or we can step back and recognize that each and every happening creates awareness, or has the ability to create awareness in us to solve the imbalance and come back to the center, and see the beauty of each, to teach us to be our teachers and to be our guides back to balance and back to that one, remembering again that we're all amazing, that we're all perfect, and that we all have that spark of love within us. It's just, are we watching that or are we not?
That's so true. And I remember you said, there's no failure. There is no failure. Everything is growing opportunity. Just
Absolutely. I mean, you look at some of the most successful, like outwardly successful people in the world, and they've fallen flat on their face dozens and dozens and dozens of times, and it's so rare, the individual that just picks something up and is immediately perfect, like perfect in the sense of an end goal, like 10 out of 10, like this is exactly what we say is perfect, right? Virtually everyone in every circumstance, every kind of thing you could look at, requires some failures, some lessons, some slips, in order to gain that mastery, or to gain consistence in being perceived as really successful. It's just getting up and going again and again. And something I often say, because I love rhythm, I love analogies, and I just always say, life is a dance. It's like sometimes we take 2 steps forward, then we take 2 steps to the side, and then we take 3 back, and then we take 4 forward. And, the more we appreciate and the more we become aware of that dance and just notice, oh, here I am now. Okay, where do I want to go? The more we're consciously creating our reality, rather than just being thrown around and not being the one taking the lead, because it can get messy. Life is crazy. Life is 4 or 5 dimensional, however you want to say it. There's so many aspects and influences upon us. And I think one of the most powerful things we can do is just choose to be aware and choose to take a breath and then make a choice dependent upon what we can perceive as being moving us in the direction we want to go.
Wow. Thank you so much for saying that.
Thank you. Oh, thank you, Sachi, for the opportunity to connect and for the fun questions and fun topic to talk about and for shining your light. And you know, every time I see you and every time I think of you, I just get so excited and so happy because you just have such a beautiful, bubbly personality, and I think you're just so awesome, and it's always fun to connect.
Wow, thank you so much. Such an honor. Thank you so much. You are my greatest friend of mine. Thank you so much.
It's such an honor, Sachi. It's such an honor.
Yeah, I have the question I wanted to ask you, but maybe please tell me the 4 things you mentioned again, just quickly.
Yeah, for sure. So we talked about sleep. Sleep. We talked about exercise. We talked about stress reduction. So leisure, stress reduction, and with that we talked about breath. So we brought those together, and then we just talked about self-love. And
Self-love.
Yeah.
Yes, that's all so important. Yeah. Everything, I can say everything starts from there.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And the thing is that the reason why I talk about that love in action is because, you know, like you said, like if we do love ourselves, then all the pieces start to fall together. But if we start from a place of not loving ourselves, it can be really challenging to start. You know, it can be really challenging to start. So it just comes down to picking that one action that you can do, that one thing that you're willing to do, whether that's getting more sleep or whether that's getting some exercise or whether that's eating a big bowl of fruit for breakfast, you know, or whether that's spending time in nature, like you said, because that could be on the list very easily. A lot of people, they just live in the city and they don't get that connection with nature, and that connection with nature is so important. So taking our shoes off and being on the bare earth and being under the sun and being in water, like all those things are so important, right?
Yeah, feel the nature.
Yeah, it's so important. You know, like I feel that need all the time. You know, and I that's one of the reasons why probably my second or third favorite activity is surfing. You know, like I love skateboarding, I love yoga, I love surfing. But when I'm surfing, it's one of the most fun connections to nature ever. Like being in the water and feeling the waves and seeing the sunrise or the sunset and looking out around me and seeing the fish under. It's just so powerful to feel that connection and to feel in awe of nature, because it is just amazing, and it can, you know, it can just open up your heart, and it's just beautiful.
Wow. I want to try someday.
You should, yeah. It's so much fun.
And you are going to hold a retreat or surf and yoga retreat in Costa Rica this next 2022 too?
I don't have one set this winter just because with travel restrictions and so many unknowns, I didn't want to start something and then you know, possibly have to cancel or change and stuff like that. So I figured I'm going to let 2022 just be a bit more relaxed and work more online, and hopefully for 2023.
2023. Okay, one day I will go.
Yeah, it'd be so fun to have you. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. It's so much fun because that's a place where I like to just share all the things that really excite me and that I've learned so much from, and people that I've learned so much from, and surfing, it's just one of those beautiful connections to nature, a really good workout, and it gets us out of our comfort zone, so it gets us to stretch our limits, and it's a fun thing to share because it's one of those sports that you could surf until you're 60 or 70 or 80. I've met surfers that are 80, 80 years old, so it's a fun thing to be able to do.
Wow, that's so attractive. So, okay. So I have final question.
Yeah.
Just one question, just one.
Okay,
So
that's fine.
What? But if you can eat 5 fruits, only 5 fruits or veggies that you like, you love, but only that 5 for
Forever?
next 1 year. 1 year, only 5 fruits or veggies.
Yeah.
What you choose? Which you choose?
Whew, that is pretty tough. It's really tough. That is tough because there are some fruits that I would think like they're one of my favorites, but I actually do get tired of a little faster. Like if I have 5 months of this one fruit, then I might actually be like, oh, I don't really want to eat this one anymore. But I
I
think,
think I understand.
huh?
I think I understand.
Yeah, yeah. Certain foods that are like really strong flavored, I can actually get sick of. Um, so I think what I'd probably pick, and it's kind of funny, and it might actually kind of like surprise people because it might actually be kind of the ones that I do have most of the time, you know. But I think I would probably pick like bananas. Um, yeah, bananas would be one. Mangoes, so bananas, mangoes, tomatoes, um, probably Napa cabbage or Chinese cabbage, and the last one is tough because it's like, do I pick something like hemp seeds just to get something, like a little bit more really high quality omegas and protein, or do I pick another fruit that I just absolutely love that is naturally a little bit higher in fat? Um, we'll say that last one. Oh, what's the wild card? This is really tough, Sachi. I don't like to limit myself to just 5,
Yes,
but
yes. But I didn't know that how you love Napa cabbage.
it's probably my favorite green. I think that's my favorite green, and it's
Wow.
probably the green I eat probably the most often. I'd say actually, um, yeah. So the last one I'm just gonna actually say then. Do 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 do. Oh, what is it gonna be? Oh, orange juice.
Orange juice, not
It's
orange.
like oranges, so I can squeeze them to orange
Oranges.
juice.
What is it?
Oh, maybe not. That's
Wow.
tough. It's so tough. It's so
Yeah.
tough, Sachi. Can I have 6? Can I
Yeah.
please just have 6? I just want 6. you know,
Okay.
it is so tough. I do love orange juice, but maybe I'd pick, I don't know, papaya. Papaya might be a better choice in terms of
Yeah.
nutrition
Oh,
and
yeah.
digestion, and it's a more tropical fruit that's going to have a little bit more EFAs naturally in it, so you're getting those omegas and stuff like that. But yeah, that's really tough. The beautiful thing is we don't have to do that. Like that might be a good
Yeah.
insight into some things that I think are really great parts of the raw food diet, but we don't have to do that. Nature provides so
Yes.
much variety over the seasons.
Yeah. Seasonal food.
Peace, love, seasonal fruit.
Seasonal food.
That's what we got going on, and that's
Yeah.
the
Peace.
Napa,
Seasonal
and
food.
I have it right here. Boop. Peace, love, seasonal
Oh,
fruit. Yeah, sugar daddy.
seasonal food.
Um, yeah. And I have Sugar Mama shirts too, which are kind of fun. But
Sugar
you
mama.
know, yeah. And originally I was gonna say Fruit Sugar Daddy and Fruit Sugar Mama, but I took that off and just put Sugar Daddy and Sugar Mama. But it's pretty what's it called? It's pretty fun. What's it called? I had a thought, but it's kind of slipped me now a little bit. I guess I'm starting to get hungry. But
Yeah, so yeah. What time is it now? Thank you so
it's
much, Chris.
Oh, no, more than my pleasure. Absolutely. Oh, I was just gonna say with Napa cabbage, one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
One of the reasons I like it so much is it's so compact. It's really inexpensive. It's really
Yeah.
nutritious. It's got a little bit of a bite to it, and it's so easy just to cut one in half and then cut into noodles. And I love salad noodles. It's one of my favorite things, the salad noodles. So it's
Yeah.
it's just so good.
I copied that. And
Oh,
I always cut like noodle
yeah,
recently. Like
it's so
you.
fun. because
Yeah,
the top part is like really thin, soft noodles, and then the bottom part are thicker, a little bit harder noodles. So it's like it's crunchy, yeah. So it's like it
yeah.
makes the perfect pad thai, you know, and yeah, it's so nice.
But you said about very nutritious. What nutrition in it? I think this is not green. It's green, but inside, like a
Hmm.
white bird, most of them are white bird, and even
Yeah,
yellow. And
yeah,
maybe the out surface of the napa cabbage is green, but
yeah.
maybe it's a white and yellow green.
Yeah, yeah,
Not
it's not a dark leafy green, but it's really amazing because if you look up its nutrition, it's very, very nutritious. It's still very nutritious and has lots of calcium and iron and magnesium, and it has a really high protein status, and it's just super, super nutritious, and it's mild, and it's also one of those greens too. You might not have tried it, but if you Savoy cabbage. Yeah, I do
savoy.
use Savoy cabbage sometimes, as well as just regular cabbage. And the tip I was actually just going to give, it works really good for the Savoy, and for all types of cabbage, including Napa cabbage, which I hadn't tried before. But if you get a really nice fresh cabbage, any of those kinds, Napa cabbage included, and it's like really nice, and you can tell it's like got a decent amount of water content. Slice it really thin, put it in a bag, and put it in the freezer. And then the next morning, take it out and let it thaw, or otherwise run some warm water under it and then over it, and then pour the water off. And then the noodles are so soft, and it tastes like a Napa cabbage
Cooked,
stir fry. They're really
yeah,
soft and like so beautiful.
cooked one. I learned
Yeah,
so
it tastes
much
like
from
cooked
you.
cabbage.
Yeah, like broccoli or even cauliflower or almost anything. I freeze
Absolutely.
them first,
Yeah.
and
It's so fun.
yeah.
Have you done it with the Napa cabbage before?
Napa cabbage. Yeah, I did not. I didn't did.
Try that out because you slice up some Napa cabbage, you throw in some, say, some snow peas, and you throw in some broccoli pieces and little shreds of carrot, and then when you thaw it and you put like a nice, say, teriyaki sauce or something, it's like a stir fry. It's just like it tastes
Wow,
just like a stir fry. It's so tasty.
wow. So we don't need cook. We don't need cook.
No, we don't need to cook. Someone's asking, do you wait until you want to serve it before taking it out of the freezer? Yeah, I usually either will take if I froze it overnight. Sometimes I might take it out when I wake up and just let it thaw on the counter or in a bowl, or otherwise I might just take it out 10-15 minutes before I serve it and just run it under warm water and then strain off the water. So it just
Mm.
depends how prepared I was. If I'm just like, oh, last minute, I want that, or if I'm like, I know I'm going to have this later, I'll take it out.
So put in warm water.
Yeah, yeah, just to de-thaw. It doesn't take much with Napa cabbage, um, but and just as a hint too, something that I have done sometimes, and with any green, like if I if it's kind of wilting a bit and it's not high water content anymore, and it might be the same with cauliflower broccoli, I might chop it up and then put it in a bowl of cold water just for like a half an hour so that the vegetable itself, the greens itself, pulls in a little bit of the water, and then I'll strain it, and it doesn't have to be totally dry. Just kind of lightly strain it, put it in a bag, and then put it in the freezer, and that will make it soften more because the more water content there is, the fresher the food is, the more it's gonna burst the cell walls of the plant and become softened, and then you just need to thaw it afterwards again.
Wow, that's a good idea for especially in winter. We crave cooked food, but texture is exactly like a cooked food, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, they're asking if it spoils, and not something I've ever seen happen or worried about with plant foods. With animal products, you don't want to leave them out on the counter for a long period of time because they can, start to foster bacteria you don't want blooming. But when we're talking about fresh produce and just thawing, going from frozen to thawed, not leaving it on the counter for 2 days, just from frozen till thawed, then nothing I've ever had an issue with or heard any issues with.
Okay, thank you. So anyone has more questions? If not, when we want to learn from you more,
Yeah.
where we can visit?
Yeah, for sure. You can find out more about me on my Instagram, The Raw Advantage, or on my website, The Raw Advantage. My website has links to all my social media, so I'm really The Raw Advantage on everything: YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, all those different ones. Except for TikTok. I'm not on TikTok yet, but yeah, you can find me at the Raw Advantage. I got loads of stuff. I got a free raw recipe app, but the big thing that we're definitely going to focus on is the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle, because it's by far the absolute best deal out there. And I
Yes.
absolutely encourage all you guys who are here listening right now, and if you watch this replay, if you haven't gotten the bundle yet, go head over to Sky Loves Fruit and show Sachi some love and grab the bundle through her. That's how we make the world go around and show our appreciation. And check it out. If you haven't checked it out, just go check it out, because it's absolutely crazy. Any three of the books is going to be worth more than the entire bundle. And the holiday collaboration ebook with over 60 holiday recipes, which are some of my favorite. I think they're just amazing. People really turned it out and put favorites in that book. It's not going to be sold outside of this bundle. So if you don't get the bundle, you can't find that book, and it's a $50 value by itself. $50 for it plus 54 other books. Yeah, if I could shake people, I'd be like, just seriously, you don't want to miss this. It's worth being
Yes,
shook, and it's
you
worth feeling
can't
a
miss
little bit like
it.
a salesman.
Okay. So only 2 days, so you definitely gonna
Yeah,
check.
and we always get emails after. We just did one bundle before, but we always get emails after, like, oh, I missed it, or I forgot, or I just waited too long, and can you please sell it? And I'm sorry, we're really keeping with that. We want our word to mean something, and when it ends at midnight PST on Monday, done, it's gone. So I definitely recommend that you check that out. And Juicy Jen's asking if she can watch this again. I'm guessing you'll save this on your Instagram, Sachi?
Oh yes, yes,
Yeah.
of course. I saved on my IGTV little play mark button.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. And if it's all right with you, I would love to save it and put it on my YouTube. Um,
Oh,
it might not be for a few weeks or a few months. I think because I've done so many lives. I want to share some of them on my YouTube. But
mhm.
what we'll do is we'll share it on there, and I'm going to cut out some stuff because it'll be after the bundle. And what I'd like to ask you is about your brand new book, because I know you have two beautiful books,
Oh,
and
thank
your new
you.
book looks really darn awesome. Eat More Raw. So can you share a little bit about your book that you just created, and where we can find it as well, outside of the bundle, where we can find it?
Out of the Bible, outside
Yeah,
the
so you
Bible.
can find it right now in the bundle. And just so you guys know, this is because I really want to share Sachi's book in the
Oh, thank
YouTube
you so
video
much.
after the bundle too. So
So my new book is Living with More Raw,
yeah,
and that is for transition. Anyone for transition time
hmm,
to step into raw vegan lifestyle,
yeah,
and that consists of 30 easy to follow tips
yeah,
and 30 very simple easy recipes. And you can use that book for like creating your own 30-day challenge,
yeah,
or yeah, anything. Yeah, and that is consists of 4 parts. And the
hmm,
first one is creating all in your smoothie,
yeah,
and the second part is eat fruits-based meal. And the third part
yeah,
is create your delicious salad.
yeah,
And the fourth part is more like a mindset or other health aspects, including educate ourselves more
yeah,
after the bundle or challenge,
yeah.
so including your raw vegan, lifestyle success system. That is
Yeah.
very, very awesome
Oh,
course.
thank you.
I highly recommend to anyone, especially for beginner of the raw vegan lifestyle. if you learn the principles of the basics of the raw vegan lifestyle, it's so much easier and so much happier and enjoyable to live long term raw vegan lifestyle.
Absolutely.
So yeah, and yes.
Well, thanks, Sachi. And we can we'll be able to find your book, because you have 2 books, on your Instagram.
Yeah.
Is that probably the best place to find it?
Yes. I put the Instagram bio and my shop and link. I put.
Awesome. Yeah, I love your new book, and I love how it goes from like recipe to tip to recipe to tip. It's like I like the way it's laid out, and you know, the one of the recipes that really jumped out to me is the pineapple tomato soup. It looks really tasty.
Yes, very simple. Like your pineapple. Yeah. I made a real pineapple berry bowl. That is so awesome. Very simple. That we can't miss it.
Sometimes the simple recipes and the simple truths are the most profound and awesome, right?
Yeah, that's so true. And your full TRA full meal plan is so delicious. So many delicious recipes. And I checked everything, and the recipe is very simple ingredient, made with very simple ingredients rather than your pizza book, like a more amazing creation. Fancy. But for that book, meal plan, everything is really simple, and that looks so delicious.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I really like to promote that the mainstay of a really well balanced raw food diet is simple. You know, it can just be me grabbing persimmons and having persimmons for lunch. And then maybe I have a smoothie, and then maybe I start dinner with soup, you know, like a simple soup, and then have a salad, like, and you can make pizzas, and you can make so many amazing things. And this bundle is so full with a wide variety of simple recipes, little bit fancy, and then super fancy for like parties and events, and when you just want something extra, and all of it can be really perfect in a well-balanced lifestyle. But oftentimes, going back to Mother Nature and going, hey, what are you giving me? And having simple things is so good for our digestion and just really helps with balance for the long term.
Yeah, that's so true. So your 4 meal plan is very great example of how to thrive on raw food lifestyle long term. How we eat daily basis. So including mono meals and simple fruit smoothie and fruit-based bowl and delicious salad. Yeah, amazing dressings. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Sachi. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Thank you. So I hope I didn't hold you too much.
No, it's always fun talking with you. No, definitely no stories needed at all. And I don't think, I don't have anything else for another 45 minutes. So I have time to go have some lunch and relax for a little bit. And then I'll be with Fruity Louise next. I'm going to be, Louise is going to be on my channel in 45 minutes talking about being different in a normal world. So that'll be lots of fun.
Very important. Okay. Okay, so thank you so much, Chris. It's always pleasure with you. Thank you.
Mutual, absolutely mutual. Much love to you, and thanks everyone for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Love you all.
I love it. That's the first one I've given out.
Yeah.
Bye-bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you.